With us here in the Situation Room, CNN Global Affairs analyst Kim Dozier and Michael Allen. He's a former special assistant to President George W. Bush for national security. Kim, what do you make, first of all, of the president's latest social media post?
Well, he doesn't like getting called out by the Iranians, who are saying we're in talks with Oman, but not with the United States. This is something that they have consistently stuck to since the Memorandum of Understanding was signed in June, saying that they have not agreed to talks with Washington. So what we have is, once again, we're stuck in Groundhog Day, where President Trump threatens massive strikes, and then we hear Gulf allies intervene because they know whatever strikes the U.S. metes out on Tehran, Tehran has promised to do the same to the much closer Gulf allies. And the allies, they don't want their energy infrastructure, et cetera, hit, and their people are tired of this constant barrage.
Does Iran, Michael, have a serious interest right now in actually finding a diplomatic solution?
I don't think they do. I don't think that they feel like they're in a disadvantageous position right now. I think they feel like they control most of the straits. There are other vessels slipping through the Oman side of the Strait of Hormuz. But in general, I feel like they have a pretty good grip on it. They're not going to negotiate away any leverage that they may have. But there is an X factor, and that is, what is the state of the Iranian economy? We know inflation is 70%. We know that they're in dire straits. But are they so bad off? And I'm not sure we know for sure, nor even the CIA and our intelligence communities, how bad off they are. And if they're in a really horrific position, they may want to negotiate over time to get that blockade going back. But it's hard to say. It's kind of the X factor in an assessment of their attitude.
Over the weekend, Trump posted he was going to launch the largest, most serious military assault of any time since World War II against Iran. But now he's backed off of that once again. The Saudi Crown Prince, as you know, appealed to President Trump to hold off on new strikes. They're obviously concerned about potential retaliation on Saudi Arabia, including its oil operations. How much sway do the Saudis and other regional allies have right now on the president at this moment? The United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait.
I think they have a lot of influence over the president. He puts a lot of stock in personal relationships, maybe too much. But I think what the president's overriding objective is to keep oil prices low. That tells me he does care about the outcome of the midterm elections. And so every time he seems to be thinking, I'm going to go more kinetic, or I'm going to do the blockade more than I'm currently doing it, he seems to back down a little bit because he wants to be able to press the markets into a more favorable position. It's great for, I guess, our oil prices here in the United States, but it's terrible strategic messaging for our adversary, the Iranians, who just see an irresolute United States lurching back and forth into positions that honestly not many people can understand or track.
Kim Dozier, is it possible that Iran could be overplaying its hand?
At this point, Iran has several weeks, if not months, before it's going to feel the same kind of economic pain that forced it into signing that Memorandum of Understanding. At this point, it still has capacity to fill up its oil storage areas. It's still getting some oil out. And unlike Donald Trump, it doesn't care about how the public reacts to rising prices, et cetera. And most of all, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps does not want to hand Donald Trump a win, especially ahead of the midterms. They know how important that is. And that's why I think you're going to see them draw this out at least through that time period. They can go for a while before they start having trouble buying new ammunition, et cetera.
Iran has continued to strike against U.S. and allied targets in the region, big time. Are they getting fresh supplies of weapons from somewhere, or do they still have a deep stockpile?
I think they have some, but I think they also use the pauses in fighting to restock their arsenal. I think we're pretty confident that the Chinese are absolutely sending them, at the very least, dual-use products, probably actual military equipment. And we saw recently that the Russians still have a healthy relationship with Iran. Of course, Ukraine sunk a ship, so we all looked at that, and that reminded us of that relationship. But there's other equipment that gets through. They have a very thick relationship. So I think that not only do they have drones and ballistic missiles buried somewhere that they can use more or less on demand, I think they have more stuff coming in.
And to Michael's point, they don't have to hit with conventional military capability. They are masters at the asymmetric attacks with, we don't know what that explosion was in Damietta in that Egyptian port. There was another explosion near a ship in the Strait of Hormuz today. Nobody claimed that, probably Iran. They only have to do these minor attacks to frustrate major shipping because insurance companies aren't going to insure traffic through something so dangerous because even one strike has the potential to take out a multi-million-dollar vessel. That is an advantage that the U.S. does not have.
Kimberly Dozier, Michael Allen, to both of you, thank you very, very much.